Welcome into the Sporting News Studios for our preseason look at college basketball. I'm Tom Vandervoort with our college basketball team. Mike DeCourcy closest to me, Ryan Fagan on the end. Guys, the Sporting News preseason top 25. We got Indiana at #1. Was that a tough decision at all for you guys?
It wasn't for me. I think we had to think about it, and we thought about Louisville and whether or not Kentucky could recreate last year's magic. But I didn't have a particularly hard time believing that Indiana was capable of winning a championship.
No, I didn't either. I think you look at what the pieces they have, and you start with a guy like Cody Zeller in the middle. You add Christian Watford, a very versatile talent, and then you look at the incoming class of freshmen that they have coming in, Yogi Ferrell coming in to maybe help run the point a little bit. I think that they really have a very solid team from top to bottom.
Now, how about UCLA? We were talking earlier about maybe some questions about where to put the Bruins. Obviously, a lot of talent coming in there, assuming they all get on the court.
Right, I think that's the big thing is when is Shabazz Muhammad going to play? You know, if he misses 10 games, you know, and then UCLA, when they get into Pac-12 play, they could be really hitting their stride at the most important part of the season. If he misses more than that, if he's not eligible, there are all these questions. And, you know, then there's the question about Larry Drew. You know,
that was my question.
Yes,
You're not high on him, Mike.
Well, no, and when I thought he was a backup player, I thought they were one of the 5 best teams in the country. But if he's going to be a starter, he's going to have to show me that he can play at that level and stick around to finish the year.
Now, was there any team that you put in the top 25 that you had the biggest doubts about actually putting up there?
Well, I think Notre Dame, not from the standpoint of I don't think they can be that good, but I thought Notre Dame and Pitt, some others in the Big East, Minnesota, I thought there was a lot of similarity there. It was just a question of picking out one. Right. The thing that Notre Dame has that the others don't have, they are a crushing home court. They get Kentucky at home early. That might be hard for Kentucky. They'll get the whole Big East home schedule, and I think that's their advantage. Right now, it seems to me to be harder to play at Notre Dame than any other place in the country, and I think that's what separated them from me.
Yeah, I think that really is just a horribly tough place to play. You know, I think that you look down at the teams from 20 to 25 and really 20 to 30 if you're looking at it, and there's not a lot separating those teams. I think, you know, I look down at 21, we have Gonzaga there, and they're a team that I think by the end of the year could make a move up. You know, they have a very talented backcourt with Kevin Pangos and Gary Bell Jr. You know, they have some big athletic guys as they always seem to have there, and they're a team in that bottom 5 right now that could really make a move, I think, you know, by midseason and by the end of the year.
How about a team that maybe you think fans might quibble with where you put them? I think maybe Ohio State at 3. I think
Well, you answered my question. You took my answer right out of my mouth. We have gotten a lot of feedback on Ohio State, and it kind of surprised me. My answer, 2 of the top 15 players in the country. How? Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying we're not wrong. I mean, it could be wrong, but why would that be so hard to believe if they've got Deshaun Thomas, who no doubt in my mind is a 20-point scorer, and Aaron Kraft, the best defensive point guard not only in the country this year, but the last 2 years, and for 15 or 20 years beyond that? I don't think that's that hard to pick.
One of the criticisms, they have a short bench. Well, Thad Matta is a master of working a short bench over an entire season. And I think one other team that people are kind of looking at is Duke at #6, right. And they say, you know, is this team the way they flamed out against against Lehigh in the first round of the tournament last year? Are they that good? But you know, with Plumlee coming back, you know, they've got guys that can shoot the ball. They've got, you know, talented players coming in, you know, Rashid Suleiman, you know, and Coach K has a pretty good track record of producing top 10 teams. I think that has a lot to do with it.
He's not a bad guy to bet on, Coach
15 of the last 17 years, they've been a 2-seed or better. So why would we go against that with a good roster, a very good roster, and say, okay, this is the year they're not going to be that? Now, I'm not buying that until they don't perform at that level. I'm going to believe that they're that good.
And finally, was there any team that you put up high in the top 25 that you feel was risky at all, that you could see the season maybe going the other way for them? Any team that might fit that description?
I might turn that on its head and say a team that I thought that we put a little lower than some, and that's Kansas. A lot of top 5 love for Kansas, and we have them at 12. We may be wrong. They're a team that has a lot of questions unanswered, and where we might be wrong is they don't have a very strong league to go against, so they're probably going to dominate the league again, and they'll look like a top 5 team. Right. Whether they can sustain that through the tournament or not, I'm not sure.
Very good.
I mean, they've won the eight Big 12 titles in a row, and there's no reason to think they won't make it 9 this year.
All right, very good. For Ryan Fagan and Mike DeCourcy, I'm Tom Vandervoort. That's our preseason look at Sporting News Top 25.